Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Welcome. There's Bob and James McNally from Canada. What is it? The area you call? It's
So I'm
It's
from
Grand
Alberta,
Prairie,
Canada.
Alberta.
More specifically, Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada. You betcha.
yeah. But anyway, tonight we're going to have 4-H group that James has been helping learn about bees. I think you've donated, what is it, 2 or 4 hives?
Two hives to them. Yep.
Donated 2 hives, and they've been very successful about growing their bees and making honey and other products from the hive. And so we'll go ahead and James, you want to,
Absolutely. So this group of individuals, they approached me early, I guess, very early on in the spring, about the possibility of starting a 4-H club. Now they are a multi 4-H club, so they're a very active club. I'll let them tell you all about them. But basically, very proud of what these 4 individuals have done. So they went out, they got some sponsorship. I'll let you, or they can tell them everybody about their sponsors, and they've looked after everything on these 2 hives, and all the way up to looking after caring for the bees, building their bee equipment, and of course, last week, was it last week? No, this week they had their first market. So what these 4 individuals have done in the first year is absolutely incredible. So I guess without further ado there, Charlie, if you want to bring them in and we can
or
introduce
what?
them to everybody and go
First,
from there.
here we go. There's AJ and Kara and Jenna.
Say
And
say hi, everybody. So what do we got?
Hello.
What do we got? We got 20, 23 viewers on here so far, and
It's going to continue to grow.
hopefully maybe Fox Plus will pop in and that'll help us a little bit. So
yeah,
Thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for sharing your time with us, considering it's like dinner time where you guys are. Eat with us.
so why don't we just start with some real quick introductions. So I don't know how everybody sees it on the screen there. So we'll start with AJ, being as he's there all by himself. So AJ, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the 4-H and the beekeeping.
Okay. So, hi everyone. My name is AJ. I am 13 years old and I'm from the Sexsmith Multi 4-H Club. And this year I got into the bees with James here. And I thought it was a really cool idea to join bees. And I have done bees in previous experiences with my grandma and grandpa, but not so much that I know everything about bees. So I thought it would be a very interesting idea to go help and work with bees.
Excellent. Well done. Well, we'll move on to the other screen. So Raylin's hiding in the background there. We'll come to you at the end. So let's start with Jenna. You're kind of front and center there.
I'm Jenna, and I am 15, and I've been in 4-H for a long time. And I decided to join bees this year because my uncle Alan and James are friends, and they would have hives out there, I think, or Uncle Alan would go out there and help him. And he encouraged us, instead of James, to start something new and give it a shot. So, yeah, I was really thankful for this opportunity. Okay.
Excellent. Go right on over to Kara.
Hi, my name is Kara. I'm 13 years old. I've been in 4-H for 6 or 7 years now. I got into the beekeeping project because I think it was my mom looking out with James when they were going to start a bee project, and then it kind of just sprung off and it happened.
That's right. I'm Raylyn, so I'm their mom. I'm also the leader of this 4-H club. And so we have a small but mighty club, and we're always looking for new projects. And so this was actually this has been the best project we've ever done, without a doubt. So the kids have gone in. AJ and his sister had a little bit of experience, but my kids never have, and I never have. And so the amount of knowledge that these guys have learned is absolutely phenomenal. And I remember so clear the first time they went out with the bees and they were working with them. And it was pretty slow when people to watch because they were so new at it. But it's really cool to see how fast and how far they've come to be able to like pick out a frame and flip it over and have a look and know exactly what's going on. And so it's just been huge. It's been great for their confidence, their knowledge. Bee language is like a whole new language. It's like learning a whole new language. So that is kind of cool. So it's been an absolutely awesome project, and the opportunities from it. There's obviously the beekeeping part and looking after the bees and the livestock and understanding that they need regular care and routine care. And but then everything from marketing to value added, working together. These guys have had to work together over the summer. If someone wasn't available one week, they'd have to share and share responsibilities. So it's just been a phenomenal project. Love it.
The your uncle Alan is James's 4-H project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like you were just saying there, with beekeeping and then with the things that you've done so far, like you're doing your first fair, I guess you would call it, or
Farmers
you know,
market.
huh?
The
Farmers market.
Yeah, the farmers market and stuff like that. You can other than just the bees, but then you learn business in itself and marketing and of your different products that you can generate with your bees. And so you get a full um,
experience, right?
experience, a whole world experience on how really life and business and everything works. How you're making money. How you're farming is what you're doing. Your bee farming is, and then you're being able to make products, and then you can retail your products, and then it gives you the experience of how you make a living in the real and out in the real world and everything.
I tell you what impressed me was like we talked about it a few times, James and guys, how when somebody could not be there, or somebody else had to go and take care of it, right? It wasn't something that could just be left alone. That you guys had to work together to make sure the bees were taken care of, and we've experienced that. I did it a couple weeks ago. A buddy of mine had his back operated on while his bees needed tending to. So I loaded up my truck and I went to his place and worked his bees and brought his honey home and spun it out and took it back to him. And James has had to do that. He went to Manitoba and helped out a beekeeper over there. So it's just kind of what we do, right? I mean, it's you got to help each other out, and that's the most that's one of the most important things right there, in my opinion.
Absolutely, and they were great. So there was I only had a couple stipulations when I agreed to take this project on. One is these are a live living insect in this case, and these four are they're not newcomers to live animals. I mean, between the bee farming and stuff like this. So the first stipulation I had is somebody had to be there to look after these bees, and these four have done that phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. As most of the time they beat me to the apron, to be honest with you. I'd pull up and they were already there. So, and they just kept going. The same thing. So. And they actually started before that. So they built their own boxes. They built their own frames. I basically showed them how to put them together, the first one together, and then they did the rest. Now, I think what did we build? We built I think we built what 40 frames. Is that what we built, guys?
Yeah.
So obviously, if you saw, or you will see in some of these pictures here, their hives were much higher than 4 boxes. So they came into the wood shop. They did it all. So it was great because they just dove right in. And I don't know what to say. Like I say, you show these group once and away they went. So I'm really, really, really proud of what these 4 have done.
You looked excited to be there that day. I'm just saying.
Did I? Wow.
I think that was what the first day, I think, right?
Yeah.
So
That was the time, James, that you made them light the smoker from scratch, and I think that took like 45 minutes.
well, and this is part of it. So
There.
they actually, that picture ended up in our local newspaper up here as well. But so I use a torch to light my smoker. Time is of the essence. I think we've talked about that lots. But I wouldn't let any of them use a torch until they could light it from scratch with a match or a lighter. So
Yeah.
right back to the basics. So I think that may have frustrated some of them a little bit.
It wasn't that bad. Like, it just took some time, and it didn't help that the grass was always wet every time.
So it's the essentials. So I tried to make sure that they had the essentials before they moved away from those essentials, and I think that's part and parcel of beekeeping.
So, like when making the frames and stuff like that, was that some of your first time of, let's say, using some of the different tools, the air staplers and stuff like that?
Not really. I took shop class, so. in
Okay, so
school.
you have, okay. Now, it's just more than the bees. There's other, aspects of it in order to the building of boxes and frames and stuff like that. It gives you more skills and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So, James, you're looking at a grafting frame here. What's going on? Did they graft or?
No, so they didn't graft, but part and parcel of it. So I think one of them asked, where the queens and stuff like that came from. So we really took them over and we showed them the grafting frames. We showed them what I do for the queens and how we do all of that as well. So they've been introduced to all that. Grafting is something that they're going to learn next year.
Okay.
Good. Excellent.
And then you can sell all your queens to James because he knows you're well.
Yep.
Let's see here. All right, so laser etched 4-H boxes there.
Yeah, James did that for us.
So
it was a surprise.
It was a surprise, and this way they know. They can be proud of what they got. And they know exactly which boxes are theirs. So absolutely.
Yeah, there's a big super out there. I might get confused.
There's a few out there, eh?
Yeah.
Who's on the ground there writing notes?
Oh, that'd probably be me.
That is you. Sometimes it was really hot in that bee suit. Sometimes we had some hot days.
Sweat dripping.
I don't know
down
how
the
you guys
face.
do it. Like it's hot in there.
I don't when it's too hot. That's part of my problems now.
I don't have that option. I have limited time, so regardless of the heat, regardless whether it's raining or hotter than the hubs, I have no choice. I'm out there.
Well, see, we have that whole thing that when we say cold down here, James laughs, ha ha ha, and when you guys say hot up there, I laugh at that. I'm like, yeah, but is it hot as here?
I was down there, January? You guys are all like got winter coats and toques and mitts. These headphones. I was running around there in shorts and a t-shirt, and I was cooking.
It's hot for us.
Yeah.
But then he came back. When did you come back, James?
That would have been
July, June,
May, June, something like that. Yep.
It was a bit different climate then.
Yeah, then I stayed in the hotel. I was very happy that the hotel had air conditioning. Up here, you go out for a drink, you grab your beverage, you go sit out on the out on the deck to drink your beverage. Down there, I grabbed my drink, I went out on the deck, I sat down, I said, hell no. I went back into where the air conditioning was.
You'll melt.
So are we missing one person? There was like 5 in that last video.
So Allegra has to work. So hopefully, she'll be home in time to join us maybe a little bit later. I don't know how that'll work. And then we had, I think Tom. Tom was kind of an honorary member, I guess. He would kind of pop in and pop out from time to time.
Is this Tom here? Who's this gentleman? Is that Alan? That's not Alan.
Oh, it's Kara, and then actually it's David in the middle, who is Alan's brother, and his wife Julie. And it was really cool because Kara got to show them all the knowledge that she knew because they didn't know anything, and so she got to show them everything that she knew that day out at the hive. So it was kind of neat.
Yeah, it's really fun because my Uncle Dave was normally the I know everything kind of guy, and he kind of got to learn something.
That's pretty cool. And once have you found yourself yet that when you start talking about bees, you can just go on and on and on and on
Yeah,
about
100%.
bees?
You say something like brood, and they're like, "What is that?" And then you have to go on to that trail, and then you go back explaining it, and then they're like, "Well, what's that?" And then you have to go again, and it's like sit there for hours.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you got, a ton of photos. Looks like you guys had a really great time
Yeah, 100%.
and learned a bunch. So how did your farmers market go there? I know it was a fundraiser. Did you sell out?
I did. I made these candles from the beeswax, and we sold out of the big ones, which were $10. I only had 7, but I had like 35 little ones that are about like half
31.
the size, 31. We sold about 10 of those. So actually went really well. And then Kara had the honey, which we all helped make. It's just she did the labeling and everything like that.
Bring that up a little closer so everybody can see what you guys did there.
Okay.
Turn it around. Turn it around to the. That's it.
There you go.
Oh,
that's cool. Yeah. There we go.
4-H.
it's inverted. I'm trying to figure this out.
There you go.
Gotta focus on
And you got a Facebook page there.
that. Got a Facebook page?
That's just our Facebook page for our 4-H club. So on there, we just kind of post like all the different projects and things that kids are doing. And we live in a small town, so Sexsmith only like maybe just under 3,000 people.
So the news gets around fast then. 100%.
Yeah.
And then
They bought it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Kara designed the
labels.
Yeah.
We chose. Well, it's also on our shirts. I don't have mine on right now. We have our little bee with our Sexsmith 4-H Multi Club on it.
So we did a couple different kinds of honey, Kara. Have you got samples of both there?
No, not currently. We almost sold out of the creamed honey though. Almost, yeah.
So you did do cream running.
We did, yeah.
I do have a sample here
Oh,
of our
yeah.
cream honey.
There we
Look,
go.
AJ in a niche comes through.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, the honey was a lot of fun to do, like learning the different process to like act like all the hard work that goes into it. Like it's crazy.
Did you
But
use
James has a new
big
decaf
extractor?
handy.
They used my extractor. Yep.
Nice. So let me take the picture off for a second. There you go. I'm trying to be producer and Charlie's sitting back. This is Charlie's show, by the way. Just let you know.
But he's my admin. And he's got more experience than I do as far as all this stuff.
But so you guys did literally everything from start to finish on 2 colonies. Did they split those colonies into 4 colonies, or did they just leave them as the 2?
That'll be next year. So we just we left. We basically went out to the apiary and randomly selected 2 of the colonies, and we said, "There you go." They picked out which colonies they were, and they looked after them right from. I would say probably about 3 weeks, 4 weeks after bringing them out of the barn. They did everything with them.
So what are some things that we already heard some things that you liked about beekeeping, but I like to flip it upside down. What are some things you might have not liked as much about beekeeping?
Well, the noise can be a little bit intimidating sometimes.
We can't get James to shut up either, so I understand.
The heat, like the weather, it was like, whew, whew. Other than that, everything went well, except for when the bees would like sting you on the ankles, because that happened to a couple people.
They actually sting.
But not Canadian bees don't sting. James says Canadian bees don't sting.
They
They're
just
very
bite.
nice.
Yeah, they just
They
bite. They're stingers.
I said nothing.
What about you, AJ?
Yeah, getting stung. I've been stung a couple times, so that was a big one for me.
AJ was like the only 4-H member besides Tom that actually got stung. He got stung 3 times. None of us have, like, the boys, man.
It happens to all of us. Ask James about when he visited my place. He
Oh.
didn't even get out of his car good.
I literally, I hadn't even had the car door closed, and it's like zip, and I'm pulling the stinger out of my forehead,
It
and
got
I'm
hit
looking at the
again.
stinger, and another one goes zip. I was like, give me a break. Stung in the face twice within the first 3 minutes at Bob's place.
So he gives me a lot of muck about my mean bees down here, and that I need to basically assassinate all my queens and requeen.
Bob, AJ did some really cool keychains. AJ, do you have them available that you can show?
Oh, did he freeze?
Did he freeze?
He looks frozen.
Well,
He just took a screenshot and posted it up there. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out. They just think I'm here.
He made some
Oh,
Oh,
really-
there he is.
he's back.
Do you have the keychain with you there, AJ?
Yes, I do.
This is
This
the
one
epoxy ones.
Yes. So I have a bee on there, and I also have a little bit of our honeycomb that we extracted off of our frames.
That's
They
awesome.
look better in person. They're not so glary.
Well,
Yeah.
you get a little bit of a reflection, but they look good.
I think we sold quite a few of those. Did you not?
I sold a couple, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, and have you got the coasters that you made too, AJ? Do you have a sample of those?
Not with me, but I'll get some really quickly, yeah.
Those were pretty cool. The coasters that you made there as well. So
Do you have Allegra's food wraps?
Well, here's a question. Do you guys have a website that, like, maybe some viewers, if they wanted keychains or coasters or something and wanted to support you, that they could order it? Or would the shipping in the States just be too much?
That's next
That'd be
year.
really cool, though. Like to have somebody order something from the States from us.
Well, if you get me a link, I'll order something from you guys for sure. And I'm sure these guys would probably support y'all as well.
excellent.
And who knows, maybe I'll send some swarm lure up there, James, to you.
Well, that's
Sure.
something else that they're going to be looking at doing next year. So, obviously, this year was more about focus on the bees
Basics.
and focus on the looking after of the bees.
Oops.
And of course, what they've done here in the end is it's just a real quick, I guess, marketing of what it is. So they've really only touched just the surface of the marketing there too. So what we should do. So we've seen the candles from Jenna. We've seen some of the honey from Carol. We've seen the epoxy bees there. Is Allegra planning on joining us later on, AJ? Do you know her?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I
maybe
don't
show
think she is.
the
Oh, you
wraps.
got something else there, Alex?
Show the wraps
Right.
that Allegra came up with there. So
So these here are some beeswax wraps. So they're like a eco-friendly saran wrap. And the neat thing about these is that no bacteria or mold will ever grow on these, since no mold will grow on beeswax. So what we use, this is 100% cotton, and we use the beeswax off of our hives, and we melted that down and rolled it on here. And then we essentially created a saran wrap, a reusable saran wrap, which you heat up in your hands and mold over your foods, such as avocados. They work really well with avocados, so they don't get brown as fast. as if you were to put it in your fridge with normal saran wrap.
That's pretty cool. That's something I've never seen anybody do that ever. So that's pretty cool.
Well, and the other interesting, really cool about these is they showed me while I was down there. So I learned something too, where you can take one of these large ones, you can fold it up into a sandwich bag and seal the sandwich bag up. And of course, it's a reusable sandwich bag. Like these things I thought were just absolutely a slick idea.
Yeah, they're kind of like cloth, and they're impregnated with beeswax, aren't they? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah, there's
Yeah, a friend of
beeswax, and I
mine.
think there's a tree resin or something like that that they put in there too. I'm not sure what else on it.
That's a
Yeah,
proprietary blend, sir. We can't discuss that on live stream.
Exactly.
No, but my friend Lloyd's wife, she actually made them here about a year or so ago. She still makes them, but like you say, they're continuously. You know, you can still reuse them constantly.
Well, you can take the thin beeswax foundation without the wires in it, and you can heat it with a hair dryer and put a wick in the middle of it and roll that into candles as well.
Yep.
So you
Well,
can
yeah,
make really tall ones, or you can cut them in half and make shorter, fat ones.
there's a whole lot that we can do. Like I was explaining to the 4-H club, we've really just touched the tip of the iceberg of what we can do.
So they're starting to see little dollar signs coming out of their heads. They're like, "Oh, we can do this." And
Let's ask them. I mean, here's a question for the three of you. Did you think that you would be anywhere as close to making what we did from the first farmers market when we started this back, at the beginning of the year?
Probably not. I didn't think we'd make that much. Like after our first farmers market, seeing what the total was, I was like, Mom made us play a guessing game in the chat on our 4-H group chat, and if I would have originally guessed and she wasn't like higher, I probably would have said like, definitely not what we got. Like at the beginning of the thing, I thought we definitely would not have made that much.
well, it sounds like it was a resounding success, and if you sold out of your honey and your products and all of that, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you guys are probably the most profitable club at your school. The other clubs cost money. You guys made money. So that's a good thing.
Another really cool thing about so looking after the bees, but then going to market is this is their hometown, so they get to know all the people that live here and develop relationships with them. So they're pretty active in this little community as it is, doing different 4-H projects and volunteering and helping. But this was really cool because then all of a sudden, all the work that they've also put in over the years, people want to come back and support them and help them. So it's a really neat community project where they get to develop these relationships with community members, and so that's kind of a cool thing too.
So the candle, I know that you held that one up, but did you do any type of like specialty type candles where they look like, I don't know, like a pine cone or anything like that, or just basic type?
Go ahead, Jenna.
For the candles? Yeah. That'd be a really good idea to do pine cone.
But what did you do?
We kept it simple and just did like little, I don't know,
Skeps.
Beehives, yeah.
But I'll make you big. Sorry.
Yeah. And then we did those.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Stuff like that. Yeah.
And then the big one, but we kept it simple because James said that a lot of people like the natural candles rather than adding the scents and the color and everything. But we did find out if you boil the wax, keep it in the crock pot for longer, the wax turns darker color. And so that was kind of interesting.
It's kind of like dinner. If you leave the dinner in the crock pot too long, it turns darker too.
Yeah. And then this is our market.
Yeah, turn it slightly.
Little reflection. Is that picture in the stuff here too?
It's not.
I can send that picture to you though, Bob, if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sent me that.
I think I did. Yep.
Thank
But
you.
So
send it to Bob or whatever, because I ain't gonna figure
so
it
one
out.
of the things that that they did here, so all of these. So what I'm going to back up a little bit. What all four of them did is we were on a limited budget, so we had some money donated and some supplies donated to the 4-H club, and so they were all on a budget. So each one of the 4-H members, I think we had a budget of I think it was $80.
Yeah.
So
I went over.
$80 to start with.
they had $80 is all they had to start with, and this is what they have completed and made for each one of them. So Jenna had $80, Kara had $80, Allegra had $80.
Right, so $400 between 5 of them.
That's it. And this is what they managed to pull off with the limited funds. So and they looked at each one of them. So for example, Kara, I gave her one of my Excel sheets, and from there she made sure that she took into account the cost of the container, the cost of the jar, the label, everything like that. And then she went back and she took a look at what the cost of or the average sale price of the honey was, built all that in to the cost to make sure that the club was making the level of profit of which we wanted to do. And each one of the 4-H's, so Jenna did the same thing. She knew what the cost of the beeswax was, the cost of the molds and stuff. So all of that was built in so that each and every one of them had a miniature business plan, if you will, to make sure that there was a return on the investment. And so, like I said, when you look at that stuff, that's part of what Charlie was talking about, and that's the whole business model, and making sure that all of that fits in all of that too, right?
So, so with your profits going forward, is the plan to expand to more colonies for the 4-H club? What are you guys' goals? What are you looking at going forward?
We haven't got that far yet. We need to have a lunch meeting with our project leader, James.
James is already thinking about it. I know he already is, because he's running the numbers.
There you go.
Well,
I sent
yeah.
you a picture.
Now, with the members in the club, with Kara and Jenna, have you sparked interest in other 4-H members in your area? I don't know whether you have you're a small club here, but you're part of a larger group of 4-H.
I bet
Has
you
anybody
next year?
Huh?
I bet you it grows next year.
So check your
over there at
Probably.
talking about you need to come
check
out.
your phone, Bob. You'll be able. I sent you that picture on the phone. You can email it to you, and then you can bring it up to show just to show these guys this table of what they managed to accomplish on such limited funds.
I
AJ?
think that more people will join, but I don't think they'll be from our club necessarily because it's such a commitment, like being out there, like time commitment every
Trying to say
weekend.
your fellow students are lazy?
Yeah.
we live in cattle country. Like, if we're going to be honest, we live in cattle country. And so a lot of the 4-H members are in cattle or in sheep.
Yeah.
But there has been a lot of people reaching out, just asking questions and sharing and really taking notice of what we're doing. So I think it's going to do nothing but grow for sure.
So
And now
you
that
do a lot of
a year,
so your area is a lot of ranches and stuff like that. I guess you would call it ranches.
yeah,
Beef,
farms, yeah.
beef cattle farms.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think the thing is with, and I'm not talking about if there's any cattle farmers, Ian, that are over here, don't take this the wrong way, but there's a lot of input costs to raising cattle as well, right? So I think, and I don't know the cattle business at all. Heck, I barely know the beekeeping business. But the thing is that for a startup that you can get into beekeeping and be able to grow it, like you guys just saw, that you went from 2 colonies, you made some money. Now you can reuse that however you want to grow. That you can definitely turn it into a business. As a bee farmer, look at James over there; he's doing it.
I'm working on it.
while he's eating pizza in front of us.
No, it's good too.
Looks like Pizza Hut.
Nope, Daddy-O's.
Don't have those here.
You.
Yeah, but as far as like the cattle business, there is the investment of startup capital is much greater. Plus, you got to have housing for your cattle and barns and then feed and the hay and things like that. Whereas the bees, I mean, I think it's probably about the only business or a farming business you can get into at a very small. There we go. Small investment, and then you can actually grow from there. There we got the honey, and we got the creamed honey, and then we have the wraps.
It's their
And then
first year, and their honey table looks better than my honey table does.
I
And then
don't
you got
see the picture. Does everybody else see it?
No, it's
You
just a
guys
black screen.
Okay.
There
Oh,
we
there
go.
it is. There it is.
Oh, it's that Alberta internet.
Oh, that could be.
And then who came up with the sharp-looking T-shirts?
That was them as well.
The adults. The adults.
AJ's mom got us started on that logo, and we've just kind of adopted it for everything, and it's awesome.
Well, it looks like you guys are well on your way here. See, now next year when you get new students, you guys will be the leaders, right? To be able to tell
Yeah.
other people.
Another really neat thing you just made me think of is in our small town, because of this bee project, the mayor is actually they're looking into letting residents here have a hive in their backyard. So they're working on that approval process, which is kind of a cool thing. So because of this 4-H project, we might be able to have some hives in our backyard.
Jenna cut her eyes like, really, Mom?
Just a couple, 100.
Well, the community or the town, I guess you would live in, is it? I guess I'm thinking you're in cattle country, so everything is spread out and big, or is it 1 acre lots or half acre lots or in town type thing?
In town.
Yeah.
James can unload his flow hives now.
Well, you know what? Interesting enough. That's something that.
All right, we got Darren here. He wants to know how much honey was pulled from the 2 hives.
Wasn't it like 300, but we're not done yet?
Pounds. 350.
So they have So Kara, you probably have that, don't you?
I don't.
You just said it.
It was 350 pounds, but we still have some honey on our hives.
Right.
350.
So they still have 2 deep supers on the hive that have to be pulled yet.
So that's another 150 pounds at
Could be
least.
up there.
So you guys would be 400 pounders. To give you an idea how great you did out of your 2 colonies, my whole apiary pulled 628 pounds down here.
And how many hives is that?
And how
Yeah.
many hives?
I can't say. At one point I had
Say or won't say.
yeah. Well, hey, yeah, I had, that's basically 17 production hives, right? Those are the 17. James helped me as well this year, so getting back on track. So I had 17 going into the spring and got to a high of 60 colonies that were growing, and sold a bunch of nukes off, and now I'm splitting back to grow it again. So hopefully by the end of the weekend, I'll be sitting somewhere around 100 with nukes. But yeah, so you definitely produce a lot more honey than we do down here.
Yeah, but it's also the amount of forage that your bees have. I mean, this is pretty much across the board. James's hives, phenomenal amount of honey per hive. Now, to give you an insight, like the hives behind me there, I got 12 hives. The average here is 50 pounds per hive. Now, I do a single brood chamber management process in the summertime,
So
and
did they.
which increases the honey production. So this year I averaged 80 pounds a hive. So I had almost 1,000 pounds of honey, which is very
Which
good.
You guys do single brood chamber management there as well. So
Yep.
They did. They don't know it as that. They kind of went through. That was a little bit of the coaching, but yes, they did a single brood chamber for both of their hives this year.
So did you the hives that they picked? Did they had nukes pulled off of them prior to them getting those hives?
They didn't. So those were 2 full-fledged production hives.
So they didn't start from a nuke and then build it up. It was
They came out of the barn as a 10-frame single box.
okay. So maybe next year you make them have to raise a nuke up.
That is on the list for if they choose to. So there's a few things they've asked me. So one was kind of growing queens. One was splitting the hives. I think I can't remember which one of you hit me up because one of the customers at the farmers market was asking about pollen. One of them was looking for bee pollen. So, and the other interesting thing was this, as I popped in just for a little bit to see how they were doing and, kind of show my support there. But there was a lot of people that was coming up and talking to him. And these 4 individuals did much, much better at looking after the bees, of which are still phenomenal out there, by the way, than some of the people that were coming up. There was quite a few people that came up and, you know what, I lost my bees, and I don't know why, and, and couldn't find a queen, or we lost our queens. And these 4, they did all of that every time, once we got the honey supers on, they stopped looking for the queen, but that was part of it. So they didn't always see the queen, but they always saw, things that showed the queen were there. So
Evidence of the queen.
Kara's kind of hiding in the back, so I'm going to pick on her a little bit. But maybe tell some people here, if you don't see the queen, how do you know you have your queen in there? What are some of the things that you would look for?
Well, you could look for eggs, brood, the sound of your hive. If it's louder, then they're not very happy. So that means their queen is either gone, something wrong with it. But all these were always pretty good.
Should we have quiz? Because I know James beat it into your head, the life cycle of the honeybee, right? So from now it's quiz time. See, now this is as a former teacher, this is how you know who to pick on. The facial expression. When Jenna did that face, it's like, Jenna, how long does it take from the time a nurse bee or a bee is laid till it hatches out?
It was like 17 to 21 days.
No. So
Kara, kind of. I mean, that kind of.
Be specific. A worker bee.
16.
A worker bee.
Oh, 16?
Kara's the factual person. Ask Kara.
I thought it was something like 21 to like 17. I don't know.
21 days.
So Kara, why don't you go through the life cycle of a bee for us, right from when the egg is laid?
When the egg is first laid, it's standing up, and then as it gets to day 3, it's supposed to be laying down.
No pressure. There's only 61 people watching.
Yeah, no. Then it's turns into larva. I can't remember on what day it gets capped. What day does it get capped, Jenna?
James is getting another slice of pizza. Hold on.
Yeah. What day does it get capped, Jenna? I'm not sure.
8. Oh, is AJ? AJ's gone, or is he still there?
AJ, I think, is having internet problems.
Okay.
So it'll hatch out at day 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
And queen bee, Jenna, was 16 days.
Oh, yeah.
And the drone bee is 23 days.
Oh, okay. So 3 weeks.
3 weeks-ish. There's AJ again.
Oh, sure. Come back in after trivia. All right.
That's why he left.
Let's hit.
You got to go to the restroom.
With a trivia question. Well, I eat my Donair bites.
Donair bites.
What is it?
He's eating dessert now. All right. So, what's a good question for AJ here? James, you know what you told him. So,
Well, no, I have all the confidence in the world in these four. So I would say I can sit back and feel fairly confident that no matter what you ask them along, now basic beekeeping questions, I'm going to throw that out there. I think they all have a very good knowledge of that.
I'm coming for a blank for a question now.
AJ, when would you put an additional honey super on your hive?
I would put an additional honey super on when most of the previous honey super is either 3/4 way full of honey or brood. But in this case, it would be honey. So I'd add, if it's 3/4 way full, I would put another super on there.
That's some Canadian bees. They 3/4 and they'll just slam it full and move on to the next one.
Well, 70-30 is basically what I would tell them, right? So if you've got bees working on 7 of your 10 frames, you need another box on there. Yep. So how about our viewers? Do they have any questions out there?
No, I
You're
don't
gonna make
see
me have
anything.
to actually
Oh,
pay
I am.
attention to the chat now. Well, they're asking.
AJ, did you get you were saying you had what was it, a coaster or something that you had made? Is that available to show?
Yes, it is. I have one right here. So
Bring it up, Bo. There we go. Hey,
Yeah,
look at that.
there's the
Yep, he's
coaster.
froze.
That's the B1. I froze.
So that's acrylic with what's the gold look? Just like a
That's metal flake.
That is a
metal flakes.
gold flake there. Yeah.
Okay.
On that one. Then I also
Is it
have
epoxy
the
resin as well?
yes.
And you got a pyramid there.
And I also have the pyramid. Yep. So this one is a bee encased in a triangular resin.
Okay.
Bet you had a hard time keeping that bee down in that resin, right? You wanted to float.
Oh yeah.
I have an answer to one of the questions. The one question, how many pounds of honey does it take to make a pound of wax? Well, we only took the caps off, so it took a lot more honey to do to get the pounds of wax. Rather if we just stripped to the whole frame. So I read online that if you were to strip the whole frame, it'd be about 8 pounds of honey to 1 pound of wax.
That is pretty accurate. Here, probably, I'm going to say it takes about 80 pounds of honey to 1 pound of wax because that's how much extra honey you guys get from a. I'm just kidding. Just kidding on that. So Mark Miller asks, where does honey come from? Now, a lot of these are trick questions because most of these people probably know that answer, but it's a quiz. So you didn't know there's going to be questions. There might be even glorious prizes and stuff at the end. We don't know. Maybe there'll be a donation to your club here.
That'd be pretty cool.
Where does honey come from?
What?
Well, it comes from pollen.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's the other thing the plant makes.
What's the bee gather?
It's like, yeah.
Nectar.
What do you see?
Pollen to nectar.
There.
Yeah.
Nectar.
then to capped honey, and then to harvest.
There's a thing that goes around on the internet. I don't know how accurate it is, but they say it takes like, what is it, James? Like 20,000 bees or 20,000 miles of flight to produce 1 pound of honey or 1 ounce of honey or something like that.
Yeah, I think the researchers have said on average, a bee or bees would have to visit approximately 1 million blossoms to make 1 ounce of honey.
It's insane. It's a lot.
It's a lot. James just sitting back.
I'm eating my pizza, man.
Now you're eating pizza again?
Well, the donair bites are hot. They're hot little pieces of donair meat wrapped up in pizza dough, which you dip in a nice sweet sauce.
Lee says one bee can make about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey
In their entire lifetime, yeah. So when you stop and think about that, these 4-Hers pulled, anywhere between 150 and, well, they'll be approaching 180 to 200 pounds per hive. That's a lot of blossoms that those bees have. Here we go. I have a cheat sheet bee age chart on my wall. You guys ask me random questions. So I don't know if 4-Hers know who Ian Stepler is. Maybe he should pop in here and ask these 4-Hers some questions. Right now he's saying no.
Hey Carol, you just became the you just became the donor recipient to mail money to the 4-Hers now. Randy just super chatted you to the Bee Club from Ohio, $20.
Okay.
Oh, that's far away. That's cool.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll make sure you get the proceeds here.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me how to do that.
Well, you can keep it down there, and I can give the cash to the 4-H club, and then I could take it out of your hive if I make it down there to Expo.
Just write it on a piece of paper is probably the easiest way as it comes up. And who donated?
Are we collecting for the 4-H club? Well, if you would like to donate to these folks and help them out, I have no problem with that.
So here's a little bit of tidbit trivia for you. So between donations and everything like that, so everything that they have done this year, they have done on a grand total of budget, including purchasing all the stuff, including what all did they get really? They got their smokers, their tools, their bee suits, their gloves, their brushes. They did all of that with and I think I can say it on here. So International Paper donated, I think it was what, $2,000, Raylan?
2,500.
So 2,500. They also managed that money so that they had money there to purchase the containers, the candle molds, the acrylic stuff for AJ, the cloth, the cotton, and everything like that for Allegra. So they did everything that they see, and including buying the boxes, the frames, and everything like that. And they did it all on a budget of $2,000. So, people that are sending money in, this club takes that money and they stretch it to the absolute limit. So,
Appreciated.
They also picked garbage too.
Oh yes,
made them work.
So we have up here in Canada, we have a highway cleanup program, and I think, what do they get paid per mile, Raylan? I'd say per kilometer, but do you know?
It kind of depends. If it's on the high traffic areas, get paid more, but they picked garbage, and I think they raised $500 towards their bee program.
So tight budget, to say the least. So, like I said, I think International Paper, so they donated I think it was the $2,500, if that's what you're saying. Holy cow. Thank you, Bob. The local bee store, so Bee Natural, they I think they donated a couple suits, and then I think they gave us some discounts on the other stuff. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
They
good.
donated one suit and they give us a discount and helped us get some of the supplies we needed to get started.
So, and really, the club, everything they do is based off of they either fundraise for or the donations. So that's that goes a long ways.
Yeah. So hey, these are U.S. dollars, so it's like 3 million Canadian. So you'd be good. So yeah,
That's sadly true.
that's been like a running joke for over a year now, I think, or getting close to a year.
I think we started that at Hive
Life.
We went. How did that start? I think Charlie and Bob and I think we were all out for supper somewhere, and the bill. I think the bill came or something like that, and it. They were trying to do the conversion, and needless to say, I think there was some shenanigans going on there on that conversion. But yeah, Bob figured out it was like, $19 US or $3.6 million Canadian or something, and away it went. So.
And it's just been sticking there. So the hopefully, some of these. Hold on, let me see. See, there you go. Well, it says images, but it didn't show a link, Karen and Jenna. But that was 8 o'clock, so I already got it by now, right? I just saw the private chat. I'm old. So
maybe I don't know if you guys can see. I don't know whether AJ and Jenna and Kara can see where everybody's at, but maybe Charlie, most of these people on your channel, so maybe just let them know what kind of audience. I mean, we got people all over the U.S. And
well, let's do it like this. Let's make it easy because they can go back and do a replay. Why don't everybody put in the chat your city and state or country and city that you're watching from in the chat box?
That'd be awesome.
And then we can, it helps the channel that way too because there's more interaction. Let's go. I can't do it like Tom Brady. Let's go. Let's do it.
Oh.
The living room beside James. All right, so they're coming in. We got
North Carolina, we got Colorado, we have South Carolina, Vermont,
Maryland,
we've
North
got
Carolina.
Quebec from Alex,
Look at that.
and we have Flower Street. 50.
We're at 320 bucks or something right now.
Incredible.
Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, more Ohio, Guam. He's from Minnesota because it's in his name, Minnesota Mike. Lefty's Cafe. Look at that. Hometown guy or gal. Lakewood, Colorado, Kansas, Tennessee,
Georgia.
Ontario.
I'm from Maryland. Bob's from South Carolina, Kansas, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, Louisiana, Illinois,
West Virginia, Illinois,
Florida, Michigan, Maryland.
This was a great exercise because
Texas.
Because little did you guys know you're going to be at the Big B conference speaking to 5,000 people next week.
There you go.
What?
Look at that. Another $50.
Thank you.
So it's interesting, Charlie, because I think your first live was New Year's Eve, I think, last year.
New Year's Eve, it went for, I think, what was it, 6 hours, something like
6
that?
hours, I think. Yeah, and that's when you invited me on, and to see that we pretty much have got Well, just about every state in the U.S. Represented and in here and looking to see what's going. So that's pretty amazing to see as well. Just that.
Well, I mean,
They chime in to see Charlie. Jeez, imagine what they do on these other chats. No, I'm just kidding. I just look at that. Another 50 for the mini beekeepers.
oh, awesome, guys. This is blowing my mind.
We're just trying to break James's bank because he's got to front the money.
No worries. We'll everybody.
and Jake, he's from Wyoming.
Well, you might at least be able to get a couple more hive setups out of this.
Well, what is? Let's talk to the 3 4-Hers that are here. What are your goals, or what would you like to see next year? Let's bring it right here on Charlie's channel right now.
We only have 75 honorary members over in the chat listening right now. So
I was going to say that makes it easy. My work is going to be easy next year. Now, you guys must have some kind of idea what you'd like to do or what you'd like to see.
Grammy says James needs to match whatever we donate.
James ain't that big of a beekeeper yet.
A shout out to James. He's been absolutely awesome. We've taken over his house and his wife Leah. Thank you. And yeah, James has been awesome. We're pretty lucky.
So what you need to do is take this money and bribe Leah to wear her unicorn outfit to the next farmer's market.
Maybe we get her a bee outfit.
Yeah, a bee mascot.
Just tell her.
Yeah, so what do you guys want to do next year? Like, get more efficient, maybe?
Yeah, have like I think we should plan out like kind of like an idea of like the days each family would be going out, because I bet you there'd probably be more people interested. So
It is easier with less people there too sometimes.
and
Thank you, Leah.
what's it called? It's just like coming up with like more I guess more like products like molds for our candles and stuff like that. So I think I'll hop on the Facebook Marketplace tonight and see what's available for used candles. So yeah, candle molds, because I was thinking about doing a Christmas basket. I know that's not next year, but like because I think we're going to be doing some like Christmas markets, so like doing some like boxes in a way to do not boxes, baskets, like Christmas baskets that'll have like the honey, the wraps, and like one big shabam.
Another idea, these guys, these 2 girls, their dad's a chef, so maybe looking at like some honey recipes, or maybe doing some jam with honey. So kind of looking into that culinary aspect of it. But I don't know if you guys want to grow like more hives. Like if you're doing 2, you might as well do 200, right?
Yeah, you know.
You're official beekeepers now. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, might as well.
That's what happens to all of us. Oh, we just want 1 or 2 hives. James, how do I get to 100 colonies next year?
Well,
you know what they say about beekeeping, right? If you want to make $1 million in beekeeping, you need to start with 2 million.
and know when to quit.
And even just like the skills that they've learned, like putting together the frames, like hopefully these guys can be helpful to James next year. So when he's got to put together some frames, that they can go take over his little shop and help him out.
Well,
But they have to all wear minion costumes when they do it.
Yeah.
So Alan and I were talking about that the other day, and there's so we have we still have a few boxes that we got to pull honey off of, and we still got a few brood boxes we got to go through. But I can honestly say, tiny bit of OCD kicks in with me. I like things done just the right way. But every one of these 4-H members, I would have no problem saying, AJ, here's your 10 boxes. Jenna, here's your 10. Kara, here's your 10. I would have no problems whatsoever knowing that they would go out and they would do the right thing for those hives. And if they had a question, they would ask. So I feel fairly confident I would let any of these 4 4-H members after the year that the skills that they've learned and showed me to go into any of my hives.
That's when you made that statement, you do know James does thousands of frames at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. just know what you're in, the beating you're in for before you go in, and then you're okay with it.
As long as it comes with pizza and donair bites and DeWalt tools, these guys will be in.
Yeah, 100%.
No shortage of DeWalt tools out there.
You notice he didn't say there was no shortage of pizza.
Well, the Daddy-O's Pizza is literally like 4 blocks away, so I think we could keep that going.
Perfect.
AJ,
Last time I said just a pack of Red Bulls, and that'll do.
actually, I think you did. Pack of Red Bulls and a coffee maker, if I remember right.
Yep.
So the coffee machine is out there. The Red Bull, easy peasy. Costco ain't that far away.
See, I do Monster.
So AJ, what do you want to learn next year? What would you like to see the club do?
I got a big one over here. I have artificial insemination and queen rearing.
So Allegra has been interested in, in fact, as soon as she found that I had the artificial insemination equipment, she was all in on that. She wanted to learn that. She wanted to see how it does, and that's something I'm still learning. And I'll be honest, I have the equipment. It's in the box downstairs, but I haven't had a chance to dig it out yet. So maybe
Kind of like Lee's Nikon system, still in the box.
Well, no, but mine is actually still in the cardboard box, not in the Hive box.
Without a queen in it.
Sorry, Lee.
So I know you guys don't understand a lot of these jokes because they're kind of running jokes that have been going for over a year now on the channel. They just never get old. So do you know what a Nikon system is?
I haven't showed him that system yet.
Nope.
So essentially a Nikon system is a box that's designed to help with queen rearing. It's a plastic square that you attach to a frame and you put your queen in there, and the only place she can lay is in the cups that are in there. And then, the nurse bees can get in to assist her and feed her through a queen excluder, but she can't get out. Then after she lays that square up, you let the queen out and you take the frame out or take that box out, and you can take the cups that the queen has laid the eggs in and move them to a grafting frame.
Hey, Fox Plus.
There's Fox Plus. We're at 400 viewers right now. So, hey, Fox Plus, tonight we're donating to the kids, brother, to the children's children. You guys aren't children, young adults beekeeping club. And AJ, they haven't made 13-year-olds your size in like ever. You're like the biggest 13-year-older I've ever seen. So I was watching Lee's series on Nikon that went question. But so Fox Plus says sure. So all of a sudden we'll be up to about 1,000, 2,000 viewers.
We're at 600. We're
Yeah,
over
we're going
600
up.
people watching now.
So now to start
Yeah.
over, start from the top and explain everything to the new. No, I'm just kidding. to the new viewers that are coming on here.
And you got and Fox Plus. What part of the country or the world is he from?
I think they're from the Philippines. So
So now you're broadcasting to the Philippines.
Yep, you were international stars when you started broadcasting to the U.S., but now you're global star. You're worldwide famous now.
So yeah, exactly. So Fox Plus knows these individuals are 4-H members that started beekeeping early this year and have been extremely successful. And the knowledge that they have learned over the years, or over this year, is what we're discussing here tonight. So
he's from East Bahrain.
Oh, there you go.
So the Middle East. So I apologize. I've been putting up welcome and thank yous in Philippines because you always send me pesos. He does. He sends me Filipino pesos. I think that's what it is.
So,
But so as far as next year's growth, not 100% sure on what we're doing there yet, right? So if we're gonna,
Depends who all joins. Like it depends about the numbers, I guess. On if we want to do like two separate, like I don't know. I was just thinking about doing like if we could talk about doing like two different, not groups, but like like taking the unexperienced people out, but then also having like different kind of branches for the more experienced community.
the well, we could probably. You guys are they running? You guys got 2 boxes on one pallet, or is it a 4-way pallet? Do you have? Does your pallet that your hives are on, does it hold 4 or does it hold 2?
Two.
got some feedback coming from somewhere.
Is that AJ?
Yeah, it might be AJ's son, but the
So they've got them both on one of my pallet systems. So they're running a standard 2-way pallet.
all right. So
Actually,
we're at 1,827
I guess it's not mine.
viewers.
I should be clear. It's Ian and Brad's design palette that I've adopted.
The
1,800 viewers. Thank you, Fox Plus.
1,947.
So
We're gonna break 2K. We're gonna break the 2K tonight. The so you could always double up, right? But it doesn't take that much longer to work 4 colonies than it does to work 2 colonies.
So how long did it take you guys to go out there when we first started doing this for a single hive? What did that take you guys?
Forever.
Hours in the heat.
It was
in the
like
sweat.
4 hours, I think.
It was like a
Now-
sauna.
And at the end, how long did it take you?
Like 20 minutes per hive, less than that.
And that's with James talking for 19 of the 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Now we're over 2,200 people,
2,300 people.
2,300 people.
Ox, it's incredible. So, and so I mean, they have talked to me. So they have expressed interest of each having their own hive next year. So they have 2. So that should be easy to split early in the spring. So like I said, AJ showed interest about grafting queens, and Allegra, of course, artificially inseminating queens. Kara has picked this up really, really good. So she's just like a sponge when it came to the bees. So when she first came out to the apiary, I'm going to pick on you a little bit here, Kara. So
Okay.
I'll just apologize here now, but excellent. Thank you, southwest or southeastern Colorado hives. Greatly appreciated. But she was more worried about the sound, getting stung, getting sticky. Right? I did hear, I can't lift that, I can't hold that. And at the end of the year, it was like, oh, something needs to be done. Kara would just dive right in there. She's like, no problem, I got this.
James can't lift him either. That's why he's got that lifter.
I have an Allen.
You got an Allen.
So
That's an alternative, Charlie, to getting a hive lifter is just get a 4-H.
Yeah.
There you go.
Whatever.
There you go.
2,444. This is about the highest I've seen.
I think this is probably the highest you've had, Charlie?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Now it's
Yeah.
starting to go back down.
we
It's
really,
been neat for these guys too to share the knowledge, even just with their friends and stuff at school who have no experience. So I don't know if you guys want to expand on that.
Well, nobody I know from our school, like my grade, do 4-H, so not many people knew about that. So it was kind of funny to tell my friends about it because they're like, I don't really like bees, and they would never try it, they say, because they're afraid of getting stung and everything. But I'm like, once you get used to it, it's actually kind of fun.
Hmm. So with your with honey, have you sold out on your honey sales?
Not
Almost out of
Cream.
honey.
Yep.
Candles were gone.
yet. Their market too is only 3 hours long, so we
Yeah.
are going to be back at Farmers Market here in Sexsmith on Tuesday for our second market coming up. So, and then we have lots of people, of course, reaching out to us personally and wanting to order. So it's coming. We literally have only launched it like 5 days ago,
Yeah.
4 days ago.
Well, I think
I'm just thinking about the honey production as you get, if you go from 2 hives to 4 hives, and then
Yeah.
you can go out to multiple, I don't know how many other types of farmer market type things that you would have, or maybe a church bazaar type thing.
There's quite a few around here. So
Yeah.
I mean, we are we're pretty much agriculture, oil and gas around here. I think that's safe to say, and the community supports everybody very, very well around here. So, I think it I'll go out on a limb and say anything that these 4-Hers could do or produce, I feel fairly confident that they would probably be able to take care of inside the year. So we have night markets, we have weekly farmers markets. They've pretty much sold what they had in a 3-hour market in Sexsmith. So that just goes to show you the community support. There we go. You guys can see the question. Who wants to answer that one?
I'd say one of the hardest things I found was I didn't think it'd be that hard to harvest honey. It took a while. It was hot.
Takes a long time.
at James's, it does take a while.
It did, because we had so much honey. Oh my goodness.
We've been joking with James that he's got so many hives and a small extractor, so he's getting it fixed though. We got him on the straight and narrow right now. He's going to get a bigger extractor, so you'll be able to do it quicker next year.
I have to make a phone call tomorrow. I may have that resolved.
Oh, did the guy finally call you back?
I got the number and stuff like that, and it's a 60 frame.
Yeah, so it'll be much quicker for you. You'll pull those 4 boxes of honey and you'll be able to spin them all at one time. 30 minutes, you're done.
We're actually heading out on a holiday coming up here shortly, and part of our holiday now, because these guys have been in the whole beekeeping thing, is like to stop at some of the different beekeeping places along the way, and to source out some beekeeping supply shops. So
yeah, we might be running into a problem though, because all of BC's on fire.
Well, you're going to run into the same problem James does. You'll be driving 18 hours to buy bee supplies.
feels that way.
She's planning our trip and she's searching it all up. She's like, oh, we have to go there and there and there and there and there. And we're like, no.
Well, the good thing about candles, like your candles, if let's say you make the big ones and they don't sell that well, you can always remelt it down and mold it into smaller ones that do sell, right?
The bigger ones actually sold better.
Did they? You know what that means? You got to up the price, slow it down. If they sold too good, the price was too low.
Yeah, they were originally 10. Like, they're pretty big candles. Like, they'll last quite a while. But they still have their imperfections or whatever. So I was like, well, I'll just sell them at like 10. But then I probably could get away with like 12 or 13.
Yeah, you have to remember this is your very first time making candles, Jenna. So, I mean,
it looks amazing to me.
It'll all come.
So when someone points out the imperfection, you say, I have to train my bees better. They didn't do a very good job at building that candle for me.
See, I would have went the other way. I would have said, oh, that's not an imperfection. That's a one of. So that's twice as much.
Yeah.
It's a one of candle.
That's part of our signature series.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm glad you pointed that out. The price is actually $5 higher for those.
So
if we want to get keychains and stuff like that, is it good to get you guys through Facebook? Is that the best place?
Yeah, right now that's kind of the only way we have set up is just through our Facebook page of our Sexsmith 4-H Club. But yeah, maybe that's something that these guys can work towards and develop.
100%.
So the other thing that we should put out there is, I do believe, and Raylyn confirmed this for me, but I do believe this is the first beekeeping 4-H club in Western Canada, correct?
Yeah, I think it is. There's not very many, or I don't know of any other clubs that are doing it. Just we've had a few people reach out and wonder how it was run or how to do it now that they've heard about ours. But yeah, it's kind of one of a kind. So
Darren from Pennsylvania asks, how did you narrow it down to only a few of you 4-H members participating? It could be difficult to have more than 8 to 10 participating members with limited resources.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We were just kind of the people that wanted to do it.
Yeah, we only have around like 8 people in our club.
Yeah.
So it's like not, I guess, a big problem because a lot of the other members had time with the time commitments and stuff like that. So I guess this is kind of just the trial and error, and we'll see. We'll let them know how much the time commitment was. So
you just got some pesos.
249 pesos.
we are only so 50% of our club basically is in the bee program because we are a small club. But yeah, with it being the first year, these guys have kind of gone through, worked out the kinks, and figured out how to make it work. But it could be a bit challenging. But again, maybe these guys, because they've learned so much, are able to teach the new members that don't have experience and share their knowledge. So yeah, it would work. We would just have to kind of figure out logistics and make it happen.
Now, see, 35 years from now, when you're getting ready for your high school reunion, you'd be like, that 4-H club, the bee part of it, we started that 30
yeah,
years.
exactly.
Look at it.
Absolutely. These, like I said, the four are really kind of starting something new. And I'm pretty, once again, I said it a few times, I'm pretty proud of these four because as everybody knows, I support the youth, and I support as much as I can the growth of the industry. And these could be our new beekeepers. This could be the next generation of beekeepers. So anybody that's out there, I would encourage them, if they're thinking about it, reach out to Raylyn. She can help you, guide you along how to get this started, and let's get more youth involved in beekeeping, and let's grow this. This is really what it's all about.
Cool. If like different clubs around here, if like even the Grand Prairie Club started up a beekeeping project, or like the Bezanson or the TB Creek or things like that, just spreading it. It's a lot of fun and it's very knowledgeable. And when you start doing beekeeping, you realize how much the bees actually do affect life and about how important they are.
Yeah, we're almost at 3,000 viewers. We got 2,968 viewers right now. So if you're just tuning in, or if you're just coming on, we're actually all the super chats tonight are being donated to the 4-H Club in Sexsmith Sexsmith High School. Is it a high school?
No, Sexsmith, Alberta, Canada.
Okay, so it's like a separate township.
It's a separate town. Yeah.
Okay.
It is a town. I think it's bigger than a village, isn't it? It's a town of Sexsmith.
Yeah, just under 3,000 people.
And they're all watching right now.
That's right.
Just about 2,900.
And wouldn't it be cool to start like a honey festival in Sexsmith?
Yeah, there's actually one up in Blair, a honeybee festival, because it's, I guess, the honeybee capital, and they have like this little parade festival thing, I think once a year, and I went and I actually got my own candle. I made my first one there, and that's what's inspired me.
So with the candles, did you figure out what the temperature is supposed to be when you pour them and all that, or
Crock pot highest temperature.
So, in other words, we guessed at it. It's about right. So, did you just melt the wax and then basically let it cool a little bit and then pour them? Or you just kept
we
we
it going?
kept the wax melted, and then we just kept pouring it in, and then we let it dry, and then take it out, and bam!
It's good to go. Money in the bank.
On the bottom.
If she comes over with the unicorn suit right now, I will lose it. She's laughing. Look at that. Thank you, Honeystone Farm.
Absolutely. So there was a question in there. No, these. So there's 4 students, and between the 4 of them, they manage 2 hives right from the beginning of the year right through to the end, and they still have some work to do with the hive. So I mean, they still have a honey super on each one of them, of which we'll have to pull off this weekend, and then they'll start feeding those bees and getting them ready for winter. So now they're going to start learning about the testing of the bees. So we're going to shake the bees, test for mites. We're going to do an inspection, get it ready for winter, and then of course they will feed that or feed those hives, get it all ready right to the point where we pick it up and put it into
we do plan on maybe having each hives for next year, but it's just gonna take it one step at a time.
So with the town considering allowing you guys to keep hives in your backyard, do you think a lot of people in your area would decide to do some hives in their yard? I think it'd be maybe a good idea if the 4-H, well, I think big, and I think sometimes bigger than most people want to commit to. So if maybe they sponsored their backyard to allow the 4-H, like sponsored a hive and let the 4-H club put it in their backyard, that you guys actually owned the colony and managed it in their yard.
That would be probably would take less time because it'd be in the backyard. But next year, like this upcoming, I can drive this year, so I'll be able to take care of me to the apiary.
So James sitting back. Charlie, this is your stream, man. I feel like I've hijacked it from you.
You're doing fine.
Bob's brain runs away with him sometimes. There you go.
Bob's brain runs away with him all the time. Not sometimes, all the time.
Well, we were talking about how much you guys had to start up, and this is an invoice that I just paid for queen bees. So, it's like 5 billion Canadian or something. but so yeah, so it's ideas pop in there, and then it's like, let's go do that. Yeah, let's do that. So
here's a question. AJ, Kara, and Jenna. So you've got a couple. You've got over 2,000 international viewers here, and a lot of them are beekeepers. Do you guys have any questions for them, or do you guys have any questions for Bob or Charlie?
Is there anything like, do the bees just go on like pilot mode, or because they only have a certain amount of lifespan? They just like, I know I've been in the bee barn before, and like they just kind of die. But how do they, if your queens are done laying, how do they keep like regenerating?
Well, that's very geographical. So in your case, they do stop laying. In my case, they don't stop laying because of our climate is warm enough where the bees can fly pretty much all year round. So, so for me, they keep going. Does it mean I don't lose hives? No, I lose hives. I've got other pests like small hive beetles and that you guys don't have up there, but you guys do have wax moths, and we also have those as well. So I think it's very geographical on the way your bees act and react, I guess would be the best best way to say it. And you know, Lee down in Louisiana says winter bees live longer.
So,
Well, that's another thing is the biology changes for the winter bees where they store their food or in their shoot. What is it? Anyway, they're like a camel type of thing where they store stuff. And I got to write this down here, but they store and they can actually the fat bodies in their body is what it's called, and they can live longer. They actually live longer because they don't fly, and a normal bee will last while they're gathering nectar and stuff like that through the summertime 6 weeks at the most, where these bees will actually last for months at a time because of the fat bodies and things like that. And it's a biologically changing, you know, as far as when it comes to winter bees and stuff like that. So, and they kind of like, for lack of words, hibernate, especially in James's barn and all.
so there, absolutely. So there's a lot of research been done on that, Kara. So Lloyd Harris, he's a Canadian researcher, actually retired now, I believe. But he spent his a good part of his career researching honeybee longevity. And he was nice enough to provide me that data. So, I mean, that's something we could dig into if you were interested, Jenna. But one of the things that most of the researchers have found is, yes, the bee lifespan is directly related to the flight time of the bees. So, I mean, bees don't fly. They live a little bit longer. That's why they live longer up here. So most of the capped brood that you have in your hives out there right now will be the bees that will last through the winter and will take that hive into next spring. So if I don't know if that answered your question. Well, there's Brad.
So far, I've done a total on all of these super chats. You got a guesstimate on how much super chat money for the 4-H club so far tonight?
$470.
You're too low.
600.
AJ's got his that's what that tapping was. He was adding the calculator every time it came in. You got right now 609.95 and some pesos that I didn't convert. So
Oh, it's $20. I did it.
oh, it is. So, okay, 629.95 is where we're at. So if you're just tuning in, all of the super chats that are donated tonight are going to the Sexsmith 4-H Club for their beekeeping project. They had 2 colonies this year and got roughly 400 pounds of honey. What we're saying. So it's been quite a evening, and everybody's been donating, and we appreciate it. I'm sure they appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna go a long way. Yeah, see, you see Castle Hives, right? All right, he took that. 1.25 million Canadian.
Yeah, 100%.
Or one Tim Hortons donut.
There you go. So AJ and Kara, do you guys have anything that you want to ask? Everybody out there?
Yeah, I do. How did you guys all start beekeeping?
Oh, this is going to be great. I call it temporary insanity. So I was like everybody else, but I watched probably every YouTube video I could find for about 2 years prior to ever buying my first hive or even going to a bee yard. I just thought it was something I wanted to do, but I lived in a subdivision, right? So I didn't want to. I know me, so I wasn't going to start there. And then I had to move back here to take care of my mother with Alzheimer. Well, she has a bigger property. So then I was like, oh, okay. So I went to my nearest beekeeper and offered up some sweat equity to learn about bees and get into bees, right? Kind of like you guys. That he was my 4-H club. So I showed up over there and learned a little bit about bees, probably enough to be dangerous, and gave him some money and bought some bees. And next thing you know, that's 5 colonies, then 10 colonies, then 25 colonies. And now we're working on, 100 colonies. So just kind of get addicted and go on. Because I found bees do 2 things really well: make honey and make more bees. And you got to know what to do with both of them. So, yeah, that's how I did it.
So it wasn't a midlife crisis that got you into bees.
Midlife. It could have been. It could have been a midlife crisis. It was Corvette or beekeeping, and I couldn't afford a Corvette. So,
yeah, it's either the car or something absolutely insane.
So I bought bees, and now I've spent more on my bees than I could have owned a Corvette by now. But that's a whole nother story.
How about you, Charlie?
I had a lady. Well, it was quite a few years back. There was a lady who was into beekeeping, and I didn't know anything about it. And she was talking about these special hives, and that was when mites were, coming into play, and nobody really knew what to do about them. But basically, it was a top bar hive, and she was looking for somebody to produce these things. So my brother got into them, and it was one of those years that our business was slow. So we said, well, we could make these things in the basement where it's warm. And so we got into that, and I got to talking with her and about bees and things. And she had a beekeeping class. And then there was a introduction to beekeeping close to my house, and I took both of them. Hers was more of the organic style type of thing. And then I took the normal class, comparing the information. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get into bees or whatever. So I kind of got off the fence and said, okay, I'll go ahead and buy a nuke. So I bought 1 beehive, and now there's 32 out there. And I just got bigger, and it's like, I think that the way you all have found in this first year of beekeeping is that it becomes very interesting. There's a lot of science about it, and then learning the biology behind it, learning how to manipulate bees to try to get them to do certain things, how you add boxes in order to get better honey production, or like the one girl who wanted to get into the artificial insemination. I hear that and I say, oh, this person here is in more of a laboratory science, person who likes that kind of work, because it's, you're using microscopes and stuff like that. And it's quite, it's almost, I've seen some other videos about that where they set up the area just like the operating room in a hospital, cleaning the machinery with, making everything completely sanitized, and so nothing gets into the sperm and whatever.
And you wear cool glasses like this.
Yeah, that's for grafting, but they don't need all of them. Only we do, or at least I do. That's like I was teaching, mentoring a young fella here at where I live in Maryland. And I said, here's my magnifying glass. He says, I don't need them. I'm like, what do you mean you don't need them? And he said, I can see them, the right size larvae and everything that's just maybe 12 hours old or less. I'm like, boy, and then he grafts a bar and I grafts the bar. Of course, his bar, he gets 100% acceptance rate. I think I missed 2 on mine. So, but that's how I kind of got into it. I got into it, and it's a relaxing thing for me. And then I got into, I also sell nukes, and I like growing bees and selling bees, and That was one of the things that the lady did was she was selling nukes. I said, really? You're making that kind of money off of bees? And, yeah. And so it just, constantly getting, more into it and selling the honey, selling the bees. And then the last 3 years or so, I've been grafting and making queens, which I really like a lot of that. And it's just another aspect of beekeeping. And it also is the key to self-sustainability and in beekeeping,
I
where
just
you
wanted
really
to
don't
let my inner nerd out.
get a what?
My inner nerd, I had to let him explain.
So that's how I kind of got into it. And then, of course, YouTube came along and that kind of stuff. And I was watching everybody else. And I got into making my own videos. And then I started my live stream here to boost my viewer so I could get monetized on my YouTube channel. And but then with this, it gives you a platform where you get to meet, like tonight, people around the world, people, across the United States and Canada. And now you have friends everywhere that are beekeepers, and you can communicate and talk about the hobby or the business. Either way, you want to, so it's another avenue of making new friends and all. So that's
So
how.
Blaine says, question for the kids. I want to hear from each kid. And you got to be careful when Blaine asks a question. I had to preview it before I says, I want to hear from each kid. What do you find to be the coolest thing about bees that you didn't know before you started keeping bees? Example, the girls do all the work. It's probably very similar in the 4-H club.
Yeah, 100%. AJ Flats.
Well, get poor AJ while he's down.
Yeah.
Well, some of the things I didn't really expect would be to like how active they are and how they're constantly going. Is like, and how much honey we would get. I really did not see that. Like, James said we get a lot of honey, but we got a lot of honey. It was like.
I think the coolest thing is how many bees there actually are and how fast you can make new bees and lay eggs.
AJ?
AJ's
MIA.
Yeah.
AFK away from the keyboard.
Yeah.
See, he knew there was a test, and again, boom.
It's convenient, eh? Why didn't I think of
He's
that?
gonna go get some of James's pizza.
He's driving over to James to pick up pizza.
Yeah.
And Jason says, wait a minute, you can make money on bees? What the heck am I doing wrong?
I don't know.
I don't know. You could have bought that Corvette by now. So.
That's a true statement. So just and we've talked about this a lot when you start scaling up, right? So you guys will be scaling up, hopefully, with some of these funds and stuff next year. You'll buy more equipment, maybe have some more bees. And what James is learning and what I'm learning, James learned it a year ahead of me, right? So, oh, wait a minute. I've got 50 colonies and I want to go to 100. So now I need 50 more of everything and 500 more frames. And, so all of a sudden, well, next year comes along, you've got 100. Well, now I need 100 more of everything. So it just continuously compounds.
Well, it doesn't double, it's exponential.
Oh, yeah.
AJ did have an answer for his. It's just I don't think his computer's working. He said the coolest thing I found was I did not know that that there was mites, and I found that was very interesting.
Well, you would love hive beetles then.
No, we wouldn't. We are skipping that whole hive beetle session.
I'm pretty sure they have not even probably seen a hive beetle before. So can I enlighten them my hive beetle situation the other day? Let me see if I could pull my channel up here. It's just a short.
Now, Tim and Hannah want to know, I mean, do you think that you'll continue beekeeping after you graduate from high school?
It's not that very far away, so
That's
probably.
pretty far away from me, so.
Oh, you say that now, but it'll be there before you know it. And then
Exactly.
the rest of your life, you'll be saying, wow, I wish I was still in high school. It was so much easier. So let's see. I'm going to show you a short, hopefully.
While he's looking for that, AJ, what did? Oh, there we go.
So this is a hive that got wrecked by hive beetles, and you see all the black beetles walking around. This is all pollen that they've. All these white specks. You're probably having a hard time seeing it on your.
See down in the front there, it's
Right
little
here.
wiggly worms and everything.
All of these white specks are basically maggots.
Ew.
And they'll lay those in your honey, and it'll slime it out. And then those maggots will work their way in the pollen, and all the pollen will fall down in the bottom, which then just becomes kind of a breeding ground situation. And that was a double deep colony, and it just totally got wiped out. But you don't have those in Canada. So
did you have to burn your hives then? Or?
No. Essentially, it's not like a bacterial issue. So basically clean it. I scrape it off, right? Kill all the beetles that you can. And I usually don't use that bottom board immediately afterwards. I'll just kind of set it out in the sun and let it cook in the 100-degree heat out here. And then go back to using it once it's cleaned off, and the beetles, they'll fly in, and the bees can't defend against them because they're little hard shells. So we have to use Swiffer sheets and oil traps and peppermints and anything we can to try to combat those things. But they can wreck your hive in 3-4 days. And the bees basically just run them around the colony and harass them. But they can't kill them. They can't get them out of there. So just another.
Can they kill the bees?
Can they kill a bee? No, they can't really kill a bee, but I guess the result of what they do can kill the bees, right? When they move out and they have to find a new place, or it sets the colony way back, right? But they're somewhere. They're just not in my apiary anymore. And all of the debris that was in the bottom, there was larvae and stuff in there where it was ripped out. So
I have a question. What advice can listeners have for us as young beekeepers?
Oh, so that one's for you guys in the chat. So let's see what you got over there. And there's a little bit of a delay. So when you ask a question, it takes about 10 seconds for it to get to YouTube. We're actually in the future from them. So so they get it, and then let me see. If these kids really enjoy beekeeping, they are in prime position to turn it into a living while they are still at home with their parents. The risk is way down to have to turn a profit. That's true. That is true. Repeat the question, Jason said. What's some advice you could give young beekeepers starting out? And all of these people watching also have YouTube channels, so you might get like 50 invites. You might make 50 grand just on donations from all these YouTube channel viewers. All right, so you got to understand the sarcasm that comes here, right? So run while you still can.
Away from the bees or towards them?
He's probably telling you to get out while you're ahead right now before it costs you a bunch of money. Don't overthink things. Just try it. Don't get flustered when things don't go as planned. That's pretty much everything I do.
Grammy says, "Don't give up."
Don't give up. Don't rush.
Yeah,
And here's
that's
another. Here's another Manitobian. Brad.
All right. So, with that being said, hold on. Brad, he says, learn to work with minimal PPE. This is the photo he sent me today, just to show you. Oh, this is awesome. He's probably laughing. This is the gentleman that made that comment. He's wearing PPE today. He's probably laughing. He says we all have that one hive, so that he usually does. He wears minimal PPE.
He usually wears shorts in the bee yard.
That was my dad. And he was taking a video, and then the bees started attacking to him, and then he's like, he has his phone, he's like screaming in the background, and then we're like, what in the world? And he's sitting in his truck hibernating. He's like, I'm so done.
Michael Tingway says, have a good mentor. In other words, fire James. Just kidding. Mark Miller, he's a queen. He raises queens. My advice for y'all, that's how we speak down here, is to take it slow and don't jump in over your head too fast. You know, like me.
Ain't that the truth?
You opened up a can of worms. You asked the question, so you're going to get a bunch of answers.
This is really good advice.
The bees make the rules. Sometimes you have plans and the bees change them. I find that a lot.
We talk lots about making a plan, going to the apiary, and changing the plan.
Learn to be a woodworker.
I'm on that.
Don't believe everything you watch on YouTube, especially if you watch it on my channel.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, most of my stuff is live, so you see it when it happens. If a hive falls over, it's because it actually happened. Larimore says, listen to the bees. Let them tell you what they need. Let me see. Spend more time keeping bees than watching bee videos and watching live chats, says the man who's on every live chat. There's a reason why we call these no life beekeeper chat. Don't focus on the byproducts of the hive, honey, wax, pollen, etc. Focus on building strong colonies with surviving traits. The byproducts are a bonus. That's a very great statement. And this goes back to James and I this year, right? He says, look, I'm going to use Charlie's hand gestures here. Look, we need to get your apiary all at the same level. All your hives at the same level. So don't focus on making honey. Focus on making bees and developing the colony. He actually phrased it as a question. Well, what do you want to do? Make honey or make bees? I'm like, well, I want to grow my apiary. He says, okay, well, let's grow your apiary. And that's what we did. And guess what? The bees made the honey anyway. So we ended up making more honey than I made previous year through making more bees. So that's a great statement. Let's see. Oh, and just to let you know, Brad thought, oh, he's talking Castle Hives. He wasn't responding to my post of his picture there.
Actually, Brad's got a really good one on the bottom there right now.
Don't let crappy bees tie up good equipment. Yep. Truth.
There was the other one that Brad talked
All right.
about.
So Fox Plus has been following me for years on this is a cryptocurrency. So years since like 2017. So if you want to know, no honey, no money. There you go. That's great advice, but we all get that hang of I've got it bad. James will tell you. I don't like
bring that one back up, because I think we could talk about that one a little bit.
Which one? The queens?
Alex brought up.
Treat them as pets can really endanger them by being too coddled. So this is something that these 4-H students learned very early on. So Ray Lynn commented, we'd go out there the first time they did an inspection. It took just about every fiber of my being to be patient. I'm kind of an instant gratification kind of guy. But I can remember each and every one of these 4-H kids that are on here taking forever and a day to make sure that when you put the frame back in, you don't squish or roll a bee. And while we got to brush every one of those little bees, got to be back in the box. And I think Kara even was catching bees and bringing them back to the box, whether they were from that hive or not.
Oh, what are you doing way out here?
And
That was
at the end of the year, they're like, yeah, get that box back on top of there. That box is heavy, right? So this is a good one. But Brad's last comment there is, and this is something that I drove into all of them, was don't roll the queen, right? But they haven't learned the whole not wanting to kill old queens yet, but that'll be coming next year. Because what color was on your queens, guys?
Yellow.
Oh, 2-year rule.
So they will see what we do to an old queen next year.
And just to clarify my statement, for that one colony, that was minimal PPE. And he wasn't short. So let me see, Brian. There's so many comments to answer your questions here. 3 years ago, I lost all my colonies. I used that as a moment to learn, and now have 17 colonies that are all very healthy. So for me, without losing everything, I would not be where I am now. Yet you would have double the colonies you have now. No, I'm just kidding.
There was another one up there somewhere that had said multiple mentors. That also, I think, is
That was Jason, Bohemia Bees.
So I think that's another really good key to key in on. So, and we talk about it lots on Bob's channel and Charlie's. Just because I do something doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way to do it. I watch a lot of videos. I'm fortunate enough that I can drive to over to Brad's, and he's been instrumental in what I do. And Ian's been nice enough to kind of point me in the right directions when I start to go down a rabbit hole. So multiple mentors is really key to becoming a diversified beekeeper.
Let's see. I'm trying to scroll through. Oh, there you go. Never count your eggs before they hatch. You don't have anything till you have it, right? Let's see. I'm trying to go through here. Let me go all the way to the bottom here. All right, there you go. So I guess we're caught up on that.
Excellent. So AJ, do you got any good questions you want to ask anybody out here, or Kara? Feel free to speak up. This is your chance to ask 1,200 people we got right there right now, and you just the record, guys, you have some very, very knowledgeable beekeepers on this chat here tonight that some of these guys know way, way, way more than I ever will. So here's your opportunity.
Well, the good thing is we can kind of pick and choose from each other what works best. So when I contacted James, I had already met him and we had spoke, but I contacted him by phone because I liked how he was doing his expansion. However, there was a question, was I don't know how what I do in Canada will work in South Carolina. And because of the temperature differences and mainly timing. But if you boil it back to what, James, the life cycle of the bee, then it will definitely, you can apply things to your apiary no matter where you're at. It's just timing has changed.
The golden rules. So Carrie, you've stumped me a couple times throughout the year, so with some beekeeping questions. So, if you can think of any of those now, like I said, you guys have people on here like Ian and Brad and the Texas Beekeeper and Flower Street Farms and everything like this. You guys have some really, really great knowledge here. So I highly recommend you tap into it.
That last comment, it's funny that you say that because we're going on a trip this week, upcoming week to BC, and Mom's been planning all these trips to go see the bees in BC. So we probably will be carrying our bee suits with us.
Does it ever get old watching the bees hatch out of their whatever it's called? What's it called? Their cell?
Not for me, it doesn't. It doesn't for me. The thing is that I tried a new approach this year. So in the past, I used to spend way too much time in a colony, and I got to the point to where once the honey flow started and I had the boxes where they needed to be before the flow, then I just kind of let them be bees at that point. And it became very clear to me that all I can do, I can help, I can assist the bees, but I can also do more damage in the colony by looking at them too frequently, too soon. I can make mistakes, right? Human error. And so at some point, you got to trust that the bees are doing what they're supposed to. But James, you never make human errors?
Oh, I make human errors every single day I go out there.
Yeah, Brad missed the question.
My wife pointed out one there from Hale Hives, from Bob Beanie. The comment, he says, "Be tenacious," and that
Be
really
persistent.
So both very, very good tips, right?
Charlie, you got an answer for that question?
Well, if anything ever gets old, I don't really care about watching them out of the cell. What kind of makes me excited is you go into a hive and you pull up the frames, and it's like James is completely carpet brood, as we call it, where it's flat all the way across. There's not a hole in it nowhere. To me, that's like, wow, look at what this queen did. And I was watching James Short where he had frame after frame. Both sides were like that. They were almost corner to corner of carpet brood. And I mean, that's a fantastic queen as far as production goes. That makes me excited.
And then you can look at a retarded sister in the hive next to it and be like, what are you doing? You need to go away,
Or it's like I had to put out a video here last week, I guess it was, and I have a hive behind me there. It's been giving me trouble all summer. And I had put brood in there and some eggs and it's like, okay, you got what you have in order to make your own queen. So I went through there not expecting to really see anything, just to kind of do an observation of where they're at. I was figuring they were going to die this winter and or by the fall. And sure enough, I seen some queen cells in there. And then I was looking on the frame and I found a virgin queen walking across. I'm like, yay. I'm like, they fixed themselves finally. And so that makes me excited when I see that kind of stuff. And then I like grafting. I think that's, out of all the beekeeping thing, I think there's where your excitement is your taking a larvae and you put it in a cup. I call it as playing a game with the bees. The bees will tell you whether or not you win or not. If you have 15 cups full of larvae and you get all 15 to be accepted by the bees, you won. Or if you get close to 90%, you won. You know, it's when they over half of them don't get accepted, they won, as I call it. And but when you get them accepted and then they cap off, I put mine in an incubator and then they hatch out in your incubator. You get to see them, and then you put them in a hive and they grow and get mated, and then they start growing that hive. And it's kind of like the analogy of, like, if you plant a garden and you got these beautiful looking red tomatoes, you can say to yourself, well, you know, I grew those. It's the same thing with the queens. You kind of grew the queens in order to produce a nice, beautiful hive.
But see, you guys had the advantage because James has unicorn dust that he could sprinkle on the hives.
Skittles, right?
Is that the snow we get?
That's Leah.
I'll have to show you that video, Raylyn.
She was in a blow up unicorn suit, one of those that you had the air or the air blower in them to blow them up.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, these students will be grafting next year. You know, Brad puts in there, learn how to raise queens. So this year was more of an introduction, of which they very quickly exceeded my expectations on that. So next year we're going to get into a little bit more advanced beekeeping with these 4-H students. You know, somebody had put something in there. You know, have a mentor like myself. So I put myself out there to try and help everybody as much as I can anytime. I mean, I think that's just part and parcel of A, how I was raised, and B, I just think it's a good thing. So
we learn lots this year.
Definitely don't be afraid to ask a question, because I ask questions even though I already know it's a dumb question, or I think it's a dumb question, but I'll still ask it just to, you know, James will validate that it was a dumb question for me. So, so, you know, like, to give you an idea, there's things that, like these queens that I just showed you the invoice for, James would not do that this time of year, right? It's not that time where you're at. So sometimes it's something that might work where I'm at, but not where you're at. So you might say, well, why don't we just get some queens and split these now? And James can explain to you why that is. Or he might say, you know what, that's a great idea. I didn't think of it that way. So don't be afraid to ask a question. Yep, that's it. Just look at me. There you go.
Oh my.
What time are you planning to end this thing tonight, Charlie?
I think everybody's pretty much got their questions answered, and
they're ready to eat. AJ's already made 5 pizza breaks and 3 donuts and 2 energy drinks.
Well, thank you everybody for answering our questions and being super supportive on the chat, and everyone that we got to talk to tonight was super great and informative.
And guys, all of the super chats from tonight are being donated to the 4-H Club in Sexsmith. So if you haven't got your super chat in, please do. And we appreciate it. They appreciate it. And it's just going to help expand their program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for coming on. We had a wonderful time.
So I don't know, Charlie. I mean, it's completely up to you. But from what I've seen of your channel, now these students know how to get in here. I would say if they have any questions, I think they're probably free to come back anytime.
Everybody's invited. It's every Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. And what time it's your what, 3 hours?
It's 8:17 here now.
So 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours behind us.
2 hours behind us.
And on Tuesday night, this week, the live stream will be on my channel. So we do it a few times a week.
If not more.
Yeah, Blaine says I do it every day, pretty much. Yeah. But so yeah, you can definitely jump in. I will preface this, Mom, that sometimes it gets a little spicy in there, but we try to respect the children and keep it PG for them.
Perfect.
So, but
no, I'm glad that that you're all enjoying beekeeping, and stick with your mentor there. He's probably the best around, and you're even for us, he's the best.
right.
Well, I don't know about that, but
See, now you just ticked off Brad, ticked off Ian, and
yeah, no,
politics.
Brad and Ian, I wouldn't be where I was if I didn't have especially Brad. Brad's been instrumental, and I mean, we spent a lot of time chatting back and forth. Not so much right now, just because I'm so darn busy, but those guys have been instrumental, and Ian's videos. I mean, I don't know if he can track how many hours one guy watches, and maybe if he can't, that's probably a good thing, because I'll remember saying, "Oh, I seen he had a video on that somewhere," and the next thing you know, you're going through any one of his, I don't know what he's got on there, 4,000 or 5,000 videos. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
And but like I said, there's a come back on here, because there's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge here, and here you can ask the questions, and the good thing about some of these chats is, for the most part,
Sorry, it's the paddy wagon coming to get me for the crazy home.
There you go. I was going to say, we have no problem calling each other out. We have difference of opinions on here, and that's a good thing, because that's constructive. So you see different ways to do the same thing, and different ideas, of which then you can take back and you can try.
And a huge difference is the fact that we're all over the country. Our locations vary so much, and due to weather, and it's like Bob has beetle problems and all that. Well, I have beetles, but nowhere near the problem, because it gets cold where I'm at. And
I had more beetles in that one colony than you guys have in all of Canada.
Yeah. There you go. Actually, that's a good comment there from DCBs. I mean, Natalie is your age, and she's got her channel and stuff like that out there. So that might be one that you guys might want to check out as well. So
Beekeeping with Natalie.
Yep. So
Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, you want to go? We're going to go ahead and shut down the live stream.
Yep.
And don't mean you all have to jump off.
You just hang tight. Yep. But before we go, and Raylyn and Kara and Jenna and AJ, I mean, if I say anything here that's out of the what you guys think, please let me know. But to everybody that donated here tonight to support the Sexsmith Multi Club and the Sexsmith Bee Club here, I don't think you guys know how much that is greatly appreciated. And knowing what these guys did with the little funds they have, I will try to make sure that I post some videos to show everybody how they they took those funds, or take those funds, and what they do with them. So stay tuned, and who knows, maybe we can get them to start their own YouTube channel.
We might have just made the school newspaper with the off of YouTube.
Quite possibly. So
what was it? 3,000 viewers at one point, or was it?
We got 1,200 right now still yet.
Yeah, and that's incredible. So
the highest number of viewers.
Yeah, I just really want to put out there a huge thank you for Charlie, for you doing this, and everybody.
No problem. It was Bob kind of got the idea of it, and I'm always looking for something new, something different to do, except for just chit chat, as we call it. And all that stuff. But
nice.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yep, no problem.
And for all the advice. Yeah, this is pretty awesome.
Well, advice is free because it's not always dependable.
Fair enough.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the broadcast.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.